Hey guys, this is Mr. Bennett, and this is Unit 5. We're talking about the periodic table. Specifically in this video, we're going to talk about the groups of the periodic table. So I want to do a little bit of review before we get started, but not much. Okay? So first thing I want to talk about is what is a group? Okay, if we're going to talk about groups, what are groups? Well, groups are the vertical columns on the periodic table. And the reason why something is in a group is because it shares chemical and physical properties. So for instance, if the elements are in this particular column here, they have to all share some sort of chemical property. Okay? They also have similar valence numbers. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. Now, to compare that, if these are the vertical columns, we have horizontal rows as well, right? Like all the way across here. Okay, those horizontal rows are known as periods. And periods simply put elements that have their valence electrons in the same energy level. So in other words, if you're in the top row, you have your valence in energy level 1. If you're in the second row, you have your valence in energy level 2. If you're in the third row, you have your valence in energy level 3. Okay. Then one last thing that I want to review that we've talked about is the major areas of the periodic table. We know that we have this staircase, right? And the staircase is kind of hard to see in this drawing, so I'm going to redraw it here. There we go. So that red line is not the staircase, the blue line is. So there's our staircase, and the elements that are on that staircase are above and below each step. Okay, so boron is the first one, and technically this right here, aluminum, is not. Okay, aluminum is actually a metal, so it's the only element that is above or below that is not a metalloid. Okay, so we have boron, which is. Then we have the rest of the elements are going to be above and below the steps. Now, this bottom step here, depending on the periodic table that you look at, this is polonium, it may or may not be considered a metalloid. For our purposes, we are going to consider polonium a metalloid, so we'll color that in. So there are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 metalloids.